Welcome to my hip mobility routine. This is more of a dynamic hip mobility routine, so you can do it as a warm-up or simply at home. All you'll need for this routine is a yoga block if you have one. If not, use a pillow. I don't have a pillow. They're on the couch right now, so I have like this ab mat. But if you don't have either of these things, you can just simply use a pillow or a couple of pillows. And the other thing that you'll need is a couch or some sort of chair. I have my dining room chair here just for the purpose of the video. Now, the difference between a dynamic mobility routine and just a flexibility routine is flexibility is very passive, okay? So very relaxing the muscle. And mobility is a very active stretch. So sometimes you may feel a little crampy. We're also going to flex some muscles. And it is about strengthening the muscle in the lengthened position, which is very weak for many of us. We're going to start with the 90-90 rotation taps. So we're going to get our feet just outside of shoulder width. Not necessarily a 90-degree angle here at the knees, maybe a little bit wider. Big tall chest, and we're just going to tap the knees down, tap the knees down. Now you're going to find that one side may be tighter than the other. For me, it's my left, and you can see me making faces, because this is a very different type of stretch that we're feeling, especially in the hips. Sorry about that. It is a very deep stretch, so it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. In a good way, though. It's always worth it. I lost count, so I'll just do one more each side. Okay. Now we're going to roll into our left side first. All right, so we're going to rotate to the left. We're going to create the 90-degree angle with our knee, 90-degree angle with our body on the ground, 90 in the knee here. We're going to move into the 90-90 stretch, 90-90 good morning, right? So this is essentially what we're doing. Big, tall chest, sternum up. We're going to try to get our belly button to the knee. I don't want you to round your shoulders and fight for more range of motion, because now we are not flexing and keeping the spine stabilized through the hips. Sorry, I'll leave in the way. Doing this is usually why your lower back starts to hurt, because your lower back is making up for the limited range of motion. So we want to try to get our belly button to the knee, big tall chest, and we're just going to do 5 reps, going down, finding a good stretch, and then coming back up. And try to use your knee to push yourself back up rather than just pushing yourself back up with the hand. Boom. We're going to hold each one for just a couple seconds. And on the 5th one, we're going to hold for 10 seconds. Alrighty. Ooh. Okay. Then we're going to stay in this position and we're going to do the internal rotation of this side. So now we're just going to reach back. We're going to try to get that sternum to face this back leg. It's never going to really face it directly unless you have crazy mobility, but that's what you're trying to fight for. So here, big tall chest, and I want you to think about keeping this knee down. Make sure this knee does not come up. So really think about keeping that down and rotating. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Now remember to keep driving that knee down. 3, 2, 1. Oh. All right, so now we're going to do the other side. So we're just going to come back to the middle and then come over to the other side. Just like so. So we're going to do the good mornings on this side too. 5 reps. And on the 5th one, we're going to hold for 10 seconds. Alrighty. Woo. We're going to stay here. We're going to rotate, internal rotation of this hip now. Same thing, drive this knee down and big chest. We're gonna hold for 30 seconds. This one is pretty brutal for me. Like I said, the stretch might feel a little crampy. That's okay. That means it's working. Alrighty. Oh, that one's rough. All right, so this is where you will need a block and a pillow, or 2 blocks, or even just 2 pillows. What we're gonna do is we're going to lay down on our side here. I'm gonna face the camera. Hopefully you guys can see me. And we want about a 90 degree at the hips and a 90 degree at the knees. We're gonna place the block or pillow in between our knees, like so. And what this is doing is bringing our femur back into alignment with our hips. So here, our hip socket is up higher a little bit, and our knees are just kind of caving in. So this will put us more having this femur at a parallel position. All right, and this is gonna be when it starts to get crampy. A 30-second hold each side. Now, for these 30 seconds, all you wanna do is try to get this heel to the ceiling. Right? And even when you think you've reached your max, I want you to fight for more the whole 30 seconds. You want to be flexing this. It's going to be cramping and cramping. And the best way to fix that cramping is to flex even harder. So we're just going to flex. Trying to get that heel to the ceiling as hard as we can. Might get a little shaky. Alrighty. And then we'll do the other side. And I'll turn around so you guys can still see me. Woo! That's a tough one. Same thing. 30 seconds. Ollie, move, man, you're in the way. And just think, heel to the ceiling. And remember, just keep fighting for more, even if it feels like it's not moving at all. Fight for more. Okay. Woo. Oh, that's brutal. Alrighty. The next one is where you will need a chair, or if you're doing this at the gym, you can use a bench, or if you're doing it at home, you can use a couch or a dining room chair. All right, so what we want to do here is we want to get a pillow for our knee that's going to be on the ground. And we're going to take our foot and put it in midline with our body on the object that we're using. So you don't want something that's too high. All right, so we're going to take our foot, put it right in the center midline of our body. You can put your hand either side of your ankle, and this is going to stretch the piriformis, which is a very deep glute muscle. Now, the same thing as the 90-90 good morning, I do not want you to round your back. A little bit of rounding is going to be okay, but I really want you to fight and focus on big sternum and chest, getting your belly button to your foot rather than getting your chest to your foot, okay? All right, so we're gonna go 5 reps each side with a 10-second hold on the last one. So boom. Seconds. Oh. Oof. And then we'll do the other side. Oh. My hips are very tight today. Boom, foot, hands on either side. All right. All right, 10 seconds. Oh, all right. All right, we're going to keep the chair and we're going to do seated good mornings now. So what you want to do here is make sure that you're not rounding your lower back. Once again, try to roll the hips, try to keep that tall chest. You're gonna want to get your feet almost like a sumo position, a little bit wider, a little bit outside of 90 degrees, maybe right at. We're gonna do 5 reps, and then 10-second holds on the last one. You can do prison style here if that helps you keep your chest up. It helps me because I notice that my chest is falling as soon as my elbows start to cave in like this. So I'm really, really fighting to keep my elbows out, and that's gonna limit my range of motion, but that's okay because the hips, you know, they're so tight that that small range of motion is still getting you a good stretch, especially if you focus on keeping the chest up. We'll do a 10-second hold now. Once again, try to keep those elbows apart. Don't let your chest cave. All right. Oh, I think that was a little more than 10. Woo! This one's pretty intense, guys. So this is going to stretch the hip flexor, the quad, and also the psoas muscle, which is a very common muscle that seems to be pretty tight in a lot of people. We're going to put a cushion on the ground for our knee, and we're going to put our ankle up here. So I'll show you an example. It's almost like a very extreme lunge. So we'll do my right side first. I'm going to get my ankle up top. Boom. Almost like a Bulgarian split squat. Except now we're just going to stay in this position and try to sit upright. Now what you're going to find is, it may be hard to tell for me because my shorts are kind of baggy. My hips are very tight, okay? My hip flexors, my quads are very tight. So naturally, my body is rotating me like this, okay? So you can pay attention to this foot. And what that's doing is, my hips aren't square anymore, so I'm not getting as much of a stretch on that hip flexor and quad. So to keep them square, you need to not only focus on keeping that chest tall and upright and belly button, focus on squeezing this glute. Now it's going to be very intense if your hips are tight. So just ease into it. Okay, we're going to do 5 reps of squeezing the glute and trying to drive the hips square and forward a little bit. So here is not square, we're going to square them, and then we're going to try to drive the glute by thinking of getting our pelvis in front of us. So 5 reps, and then we're going to hold the last one. Last one, really, really fight to stay upright, really fight for your belly button to come through and your pelvis to come through. Okay. Now, if this is too intense for you, the further away you get your knee from the chair, the easier it becomes. Or if it's too much, you can just keep your foot on the ground like so, and you will still get the same effect of squeezing this glute and trying to drive the hips forward. You'll get a really big stretch on the front of the leg and hips. All right. Now, if you haven't noticed, this isn't just a relaxing stretch session. This is mobility, okay? So it's kind of like a workout. I'm sweating. So we're gonna go 5 reps. That's 2, 3. And then we'll hold this one. Okay. Woo! You can get into a deep squat if you'd like. Once again, focusing on keeping that chest upright. If you can't do that, it means that your calves are most likely limited. Mine are a little limited myself. So maybe we'll make that the next video. So this is going to lead to, if you're anything like me, I power lifted for a long time, and you can get really, really strong even if your body mechanics are out of alignment. The only issue is the stronger you get, and if your body continues to be out of alignment and you keep producing more and more strength on that, eventually it's just going to lead to injury or chronic pain or chronic tightness, which is exactly what I am dealing with and want you guys to avoid. Now, at the beginning of my journey, I was just a knucklehead and I ignored it for far too long. So now it's something that I work through pretty consistently. But I'm a firm believer that if you can maintain before you actually run into that, then you're going to be much better off, more gains, and feeling much better, truthfully. You never want to get to the point where the only time you feel good is when you're warmed up at the gym and you're crushing weights, but outside of the gym you start to realize my lower back hurts, my knee hurts, my elbows hurt, my shoulders hurt. What's the point, right? We want to stay healthy and fit. Yes, I like being super strong. Yes, I like being super jacked, but longevity is also important. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do hope that this is helpful. And please make sure to like and subscribe. And let's keep getting after it, man. I'm excited to continue to make videos like this, and I hope you guys like it. Oh. Also, you may be a little bit sore here after, so just pay attention to your body. Oh.